first Sub-Zero.
Kuai Liang is a poor copy.
He vastly improves the original.
Alright guys, so I didn't want this to all be doom and gloom when it comes to Mortal Kombat, and you know, we're building a little community here where we have discussions. I always read your comments and you know, I appreciate everything you guys say. So I was thinking to myself, how can Mortal Kombat 11 be better? There's a lot of things that are not going to change with Mortal Kombat 11. There's a lot that we might request NRS are simply not going to do because maybe it's too much work fundamentally for them. I thought about some changes that Aftermath could bring, or rather additions that Aftermath could bring, some quality of life additions that Aftermath could bring that could really spice up the game and just make people feel like they're at home at Mortal Kombat, because I've heard a lot of people say Mortal Kombat 11 doesn't really feel like a traditional Mortal Kombat game, in the sense that there's a lot of things that are just not there and they're very minor, you might not notice them. They do make a big difference. So I've got 5 changes or 5 additions I would like to see, quality of life additions for Mortal Kombat 11 that I feel like could make me feel like turning the game on a little bit more. Now the first one is a biased one. It's very biased, I understand that, but Noob Saibot has a problem. He has a major problem, and it's a problem that I don't see Aaron Black dealing with. Now Aaron Black has a move where he will shoot the opponent, and depending on how many shots you've done, he will lose bullets obviously from his gun, and it will have an indication at the bottom of the screen. I think he starts off with like 6 or 8. You have to reload them, and it basically tells you when your gun is full and when your gun's not and how many shots you have left. Noob Saibot has a mechanic where if he hits his clone 10 times, I think the 10th clone, it's not the 11th, I'm pretty sure it's the 10th clone, will activate a crushing blow. Now when you're in a match against someone that's good, or even someone that isn't good, it's kind of hard to keep track of the clone and how much clones you've used and how many times it's hit. A lot of the time they get blocked, sometimes they don't. It's hard to keep track. A nice quality of life change for Noob Saibot players would be to have the clones at the bottom of the screen racking up. The same way Aaron Black's one goes down or goes up when he uses bullets or reloads, it would be great if Noob Saibot's counter kept going up. Just so I know where I am with the clones, I don't feel like I should have to count them whilst I'm dealing with someone that's in my face mashing buttons. It'd be a nice quality of life change, something that I would really appreciate. Obviously my main character is Noob Saibot, so I'd like to hear from you guys. What quality of life changes would you like to see to your character? Not necessarily buffs, but something that will make the character feel less frustrating to use sometimes. If there's anything you guys can think of, write in the comment section below. If we get enough suggestions, I'll make a video with all the quality of life changes that would be nice per character. But for now, that's not really a buff with Noob Saibot. It's just something that will make dealing with the whole clone thing a bit nicer. It's just a quality of life change. I would also like the old voices and the old sounds back in Mortal Kombat. For any of you that grew up playing Mortal Kombat, you know that Mortal Kombat had some of the best soundtracks in the 90s, and honestly some of the most bizarre but funny voice acting. From the weird sounds that Raiden would make, to the weird sounds that Liu Kang would make, to the weird sounds that basically everyone would end up making in this game. It felt like it was Mortal Kombat. It felt like that was Mortal Kombat's thing. But in Mortal Kombat 11, that doesn't really happen. You don't even have Raiden doing the Superman noise. Like, it's just not in there. It's completely gone, and I felt like that was something that was special in Mortal Kombat. It really felt like Mortal Kombat. Do you remember way back in the day when you would play Street Fighter and you would hear Ryu say "Atsmatsubuken" or some shit like that? Like he doesn't say that anymore in Street Fighter 5. He says the actual name of the move, and I feel that those little changes, like they really do go a long way. It feels more true to something that you grew up with. I know this might be a minor thing to someone. Some people might like the direction it's gone in with the more serious tone. I personally think that the option to switch the voices out for the classic voices would be amazing. And obviously some of the new characters are not going to have classic voices, that's a given. I'm not even asking NRS to record new ones. Just for the classic characters that have been in previous games that had those wacky sound effects, the ones that you can hear in this video, just add them back in. And with regards to the soundtrack, adding in the old soundtrack would be absolutely amazing, because in all honesty, one of the most disappointing things with MKX and MK11 to me is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is doo-doo, it's arse cheeks, it's straight poop in Mortal Kombat 11. It's even worse than MKX. I think the Shang Tsung stage is probably the only one that I actually like. If they could add in the old music from back in the day, the Pit, the Deadpool stage, you hear me playing them in the backgrounds of my videos because they're so good. They're really special soundtracks. So I'm not asking NRS to make new music, that's going to cost money. But I am asking them to use a bit of their time to upload some of their old music into the game and give us the option when we want to use it. I feel like music plays a huge part in fighting games. Like, it really does make a difference. People love the music in Killer Instinct, and people love the music in like Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter Alpha 2 or whichever. People love those games. Tekken has an amazing soundtrack. Mortal Kombat soundtrack has dipped dramatically, and it's disappointing. So I'm not asking for new music, I'm just simply asking you to import the old music from the previous games. Everything from MK1 to MK9, just get that shit in there. Apart from the voices and soundtracks, the other quality of life change that I would like in there is some of the sounds. This does kind of fall in line with the voice acting, but it's the noises that they would make when they were knocked down or when they were like pushed back. They were so ridiculous. It was so much fun. It was so much fun to hit your opponent and hear the noise that was going to come out of their mouth. Me and my friends literally sat in a group chat mimicking the sounds and laughing at them because they were that hilarious, and I feel like that's just another fun aspect of Mortal Kombat or previous Mortal Kombat games. I don't feel like that should be lost.
No, but Mortal Kombat would never be like it was like in the 90s, fam. Like, that was just peak. I'm sorry, bruv. They had, bruv, the music was so sick. The fucking sound effects, bruv. Oh my days, fam. Everything.
You can have a serious game, you can have a serious tone, but you gotta have a bit of fun with it as well. So I'd like them to also bring back the old sounds, the sounds that characters make when they're falling down, when they're getting punched. Those sort of things would go a long way. The fourth quality of life change that I would like to see is a new main menu. I know this might sound petty, I know this might sound silly to some of you, but I remember when Street Fighter 4 came out, and then I believe it was Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition or Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. It came out and there was a new main menu, and for me that felt really nice. Like, it felt like I was opening a new game. There was new music, there was even a new opening, which is something that I don't like about Mortal Kombat. Back in the day, I think it was the last one was Armageddon. That was the last one that had an actual opening. They don't have that anymore in Mortal Kombat games. It's just straight to the main screen. It kind of like, it lost its flavor a little bit for me. Like, I really loved those openings, like the Deception, the Deadly Alliance, the Armageddon openings. They were fantastic. So if they could spice up the main menu, maybe put the movie soundtrack in there, put a remixed version of the movie soundtrack, change up the art on the main menu, make it look like a new game. And that's not going to solve the balance changes, that's not going to solve any of the issues that we have with the game, but it's a quality of life change or adjustment or inclusion that I think will go a long way. And finally, the last quality of life change that I would like to see in this game is the decrease of the grind fest. And what I mean by that is the 25 severed heads is irritating. I know it was 50 before, I know they brought it down, but oh my god, like, it's just long. I still haven't finished it just because it's just irritating. Like, the crypt is a bit of an irritation for me. I think the design of the crypt, being able to walk around in third person mode, sort of looks like a God of War thing they got going on there. I think that's all great, but the grind fest, to get items, to unlock brutalities, to unlock random things here and there, it's just not that good. I feel like they need to decrease the grind fest and increase the content. And the content doesn't have to be deep or expansive, just things here and there. It's not a big deal, but the grind fest is really irritating. And actually, just before I go, just a quick bonus one, just before we wrap this video up, I completely forgot. Brutalities, for the love of God, please just allow us to use them whenever we want. If I go to kill someone and I press down 2, I shouldn't have to have not blocked for the entire match to use that brutality. If I go to use a specific brutality, I shouldn't have to duck 50 times in the match and have half my health just to access it. We've already gone through the work of defeating the opponent. It's already enough work in Mortal Kombat 11 as it is. Don't make accessing brutalities even more difficult. Just let us use them the way we can use fatalities. Can you imagine if you didn't do 10 jumps and no blocks, you couldn't do a fatality? It's ridiculous. Let people use brutalities the way they want to use them. Stop putting stupid requirements on it. It makes it frustrating. We want to see them. The brutalities are cool. Make them accessible. Make them easier to use. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to comment what changes, what quality of life changes you would like. So not balance adjustments, quality of life, whether it's for your character, the main menu, songs, whatever. Something that you can think of that's original that might bring some more life to Mortal Kombat. Drop it in the comment section below. If we get enough, we'll just make one big compilation video with like fan requested changes for the quality of life in Mortal Kombat 11. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. As always, stay safe out there during these times, and I will catch you guys very soon. Peace.